Welcome again to the creative world of Adoor Gopalakrishnan and our channel Swayamvaram 50. Vidheyan, translated from Malayalam as Servile, is a film which Adoor says with a wild energy. The film is based on a popular Malayalam writer, Paul Zacharia's Novletter. It is also the first film which Adoor did outside the Kerala milieu with a lead character who is not a Malayali. Just as the hero of Velipatayam, the lead character played by Mammootty, is also a feudal lord caught in the fast-changing society after India gained independence as a free country with its own set of rules. But the landlord is oblivious of such laws and is a cruel man who even kills his wife. Adoor refuses to make him a villain in the normal sense, but portrays him as a man who cannot make out the new rules of the society as he is caught in his own time trap. Here again, he treats the cruel Patelar, the lead character, with a human Gandhian touch. Beautifully visualized in the lush green terrain of South Canara district of Karnataka, in the neighborhood of North Kerala, the film, just as the storyline, has a wild charm about it.
സരോജക്ക എന്തെങ്കിലും കുടിക്കാൻ തരണേ.
ಇದನ್ ಕುಡೀರಿ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಏನೂ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ? എന്നെ രക്ഷിക്കണേ. വെടി എനിക്കാ കൊണ്ടത്. അയ്യോ അയ്യോ.
Coming to Vidheyan, that's a film which is totally different from other films. It's a story based on Zacharia's short novel. And for the first time, you went outside Kerala. Looking back today, many people say that Kerala society has become a servile society. It's almost like your prediction of what is going to happen kind of thing. Like, servile in the sense that it is not just physical, but it's also mental. That you get addicted to something and you start enjoying it, whether it's productive or not, you don't think about it. But you know it's servile, but you don't want to rebel it because there is a certain comfort level attached to it. And finally, in that film, you show that he is relieved that the villain of the piece has died and he is killed. The film today, it comes out as a totally different statement from you. Was it the theme of the story which attracted you, or the characters, or this social value? What was it in your mind?
This was a story published in Madhurumi Annual. I sort of liked it, but I had my reservations about the villainous character of Patel. I had seen a film by K.G. George, Iragal, which was again very difficult to watch because of the cruelty shown in the film. So I thought George may like to use this story. So I called George and told him, look, you must read this story and why don't you do a film based on this. But then George worked on it. Seems he worked on a script, and later he abandoned it because he developed it as a story of immigrants. See, what happens is when you adapt a story, for some strange reason you become lazy. Then you intuitively look for another story. Now, this is what happened in this case, because again there was a dry period for me in terms of ideas. So I thought, why not? I like this story, and I reread it, and I thought I can't adapt it. This was again not a novel; it was a little stretched short film.
No.
Then I should contact Zacharia and then proceed after that. So Zacharia was not in India; he was somewhere in Europe. So I got his number from my contact and called him. His response was, "Gopalakrishnan, I will be honored." In my contract, I had very specifically mentioned I am adapting the story, but I have the freedom to do whatever I wish in this story. And Zacharia was very, very cordial, and he came with me to see the locations. And we went to see several of the houses of these people. And one of it I liked, and I said, we will have it here. This will be also Patel, and settled on it. Also, we went to see many of the locations. Zacharia came with me. I stayed there for 2-3 days. Went to all locations. I had very active support from Zacharia, and then he introduced me.
He had a plantation there.
Yes, he had. What I liked in the story was a sort of wild energy it had that I thought I should use. And also I wanted to change him to somebody who committed a crime, but he is not a serial killer.
Yes.
I am not treated Patelar as a villain. Because he is so innocent about what he is doing. Because of a tradition, he is no more the village chief. He called a Patelar because he belongs to a Patelar's family, that's all. So he has assumed that he has the same power. People are respecting him, they are afraid of him, etc. So he is involved in all these cases around. Same with Tommy. Tommy goes there with his wife. He was first in Wayanadu area, and then he could not make it there, and then they proceeded towards. This was a regular kind of exodus that happened in the past. From Travancore they went to Wayanad. From Wayanad some of them went over to that area, South Canara. So this is the trail. In those days what happened was the cultivable land was the only thing recorded in the land records. So the bushes around that area, that was treated as just wasteland. So what these encroachers did was to go and encroach that land and then set up a house there and then settle there. But they are always in the fear that the Patelar can displace them anytime.
Take it over.
Yes, and because if he is not happy with them. So they live in this fear. So here is a man who is a settler who thinks that he has to submit to Patelar's demands, orders. Otherwise he cannot carry on. There were times when he could have said no, but he cannot bring himself to say that. Instead he submits. Slowly he submits so much that finally he negates himself. So Patelar encroaches on his personal life. In the sense he rapes his wife and keeps her as a second home, etc. Here is somebody who thinks that he will lose. He has something to lose if he says no, if he refuses to submit. And on the other side you have somebody who assumes he has the power which he doesn't have. It's a play of power structure. This is what I am trying to investigate in this film.
That leads you to this strange relationship between the characters.
Yes.
Like the first time abusing him left and right, then after having submitted, he becomes his jailer.
Yes.
Then he dragged into his domestic issues.
Yes.
Final thing of submission, which he conspires with the opponents of the Patelar to kill him also, right?
Actually, he doesn't conspire. The Patelar becomes such a terror in the village, and one of the merchants, in fact, for some in search of his brother or something. He comes to the place and Patel doesn't like his presence there, the way he behaves, and he doesn't recognize Patel and he doesn't give the respect he deserves, etc. So he has a chair, although broken, placed in front of the toddy shop. That is where he sits when he is not doing anything else. And then also another person, which is called Kuttaparas, his daughter-in-law, he tries to assault them. So all that has built up real enemies for him, opponents for him in the village and around. So they plan to do away with Patel and sort of persuades this Tommy to collaborate with them so that they will manage. Only just invite him for a dinner at home. We will, from the hiding places, we could shoot him and finish him off. Tommy wants to protest against Patel, but he can't. He cannot bring himself to stand before him and then say no. So there is a complex psychology working on it.
But it's a kind of vicarious satisfaction he gets from agreeing with them. And
he had no choice. But then they tell him, you also want to get liberated, no? Don't you? We will get you even a job in the Panchayat office, etc. All these promises are made, and he is willy-nilly he agrees. He is not fully colliding with them, but then he has no choice. He finds another seat of power in them.
Yes.
That's how he agrees to be a partner of the scheme. So, but when he is shot, and there was a time when Pateller is almost hanging from a stone, encircling the well, and then he's asking for help. He could have given a push and then he could have died, but then instead he pulls him out. So he had this complex two minds on him. He cannot bring himself to kill him, but himself. If he was shot, it was okay. But then now he is in a situation where he had no choice but to help him out from the well. He thinks he has become an accomplice in the crime that Taylor has committed. That's what makes him a person who is guilty. But he has not done any crime. Even when Pateller is, after killing his wife, Pateller even suggests that I should ask you to kill her, not me. Do you think that she has recognized me? He also starts having doubts. That's for the first time. Because I have treated his wife as his conscience. After the murder is done, he feels guilty, slowly. So they leave, both of them leave, and they think they can take shelter under his nephew's house. And then goes to the nephew. But then he doesn't even let him inside. Now he's the status of a man on the run.
Fugitives.
So, fugitives. So he is taken to the car shed, not into the house. And he tells him, no, you cannot stay here. I will give you the provisions. Go into the forest. Escape yourself. So with a gun, with this and that, they leave, with the two of them. And the most significant thing is, these are not there in the story. They start eating from the same packet of food, that nephew sent him. Slowly, they are on level ground. And he calls him by name for the first time. And Tommy is so excited. So excited. He says, you called me my name. So he has become an individual now before him, because one is an accomplice, the other is a criminal.
Tommy.
യജമാനൻ എന്നെ പേര് വിളിച്ചു.
സരോജ അറിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടാവില്ല അല്ലേ?
ഇല്ല യജമാനരെ, ഇല്ല.
And then whereas the opponents have been chasing him, they have traced him to that forest, and they're aiming at him. Finally, Pateller realizes that he has to submit. There is no way.
And he does the hands up.
Hands up, and he is shot down.
It's also anatomy of a servile person.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
How his mind works, how he is forced into that, and how he has to survive.
Yes.
And finally, but he finds some little pleasures in Pateller's wife, who is very friendly. But he thinks that maybe she thinks that she can influence Patel through this man.
Tommy becomes witnesses in the whole process. He himself got gets shot, because while aiming at the wife, he misfired and got the shot on himself. But this unkind person, he says we can throw him up in somewhere.
Yeah.
She says, no, we cannot. I will not allow you to do that. And then he is taken to the hospital and he revives.
Visually, I think this is, I found it, the way it begins. You give this feeling of, tribal forest, that thing, atmosphere of fear and everything.
There is a certain primitivity about it.
Yeah, primitive.
The waterfalls where the final scene takes place, where he is being shot. He falls there. There is that sequence where, very important sequence is where he takes the gun from his hands, the dead man's hands, lifts it and throws it out into the water with all force. Actually, Zacharia's story is not like that. Zacharia's story says he visits that place after the body is decomposed and all that.
In a way, you are renouncing violence.
It becomes the image of symbol of power. That's why he throws it away.
Yes.
The power which is misused.
Visually, I think it is totally different from other this thing, because so much of, even though in Kerala you have all other greeneries, but here it is something which is
Different.
Yeah, which is very thick, very this thing, and very, I think, in a way, you feel that they are all in a forest.
Yes. Because there is this wild energy in it,
Yes.
untamed energy in it, which I wanted to bring in, to bring forth in the film. See, in Karnataka, even historically, the system of Patels collecting land revenue existed up to the 60s,
Okay.
long after the independence. Yes.
As his character says that he must remember that things have changed,
Yes.
but he doesn't realize it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that way it is also like in your other films. It's also
It's a
statement
period.
of- yeah.
It takes a period.
Yes. The changing realities, it comes in, the theme again comes in. But people get caught in the past and then the inevitable tragedy.
You become, actually, Patelar also is a servile.
Yes.
The English is servile, means the people who are, those servile people. That's it means. It's not a singular, it's a plural. The servile. And also he becomes dependent on his servant. Towards the end,
Yes.
The servant has become richer in experience and in spirit also.
Yes.
Whereas this man has nothing, he has lost everything.
Yes.
He is just left with his loin clothes, when he's traveling through the forest.
I was curious about that. They went to the temple pond to kill the fish,
Yes,
and they couldn't.
yes.
So that is like.
It's a very important scene
Yeah.
about which there was some controversy. It was unnecessary because he said it was the idea of Hindutva that I did not want the mind to explore. But my theme is different, because these people are taking the mine and throwing it to the water so that it will explode and they will get the fish killed, and then they can take it. They are taking a basket also along with that. Nothing happens. And in Zacharia's story, as they walk back, crestfallen, they hear the sound of the explosion. They hear it from under the water. Boom. That's what he has written. According to my treatment, my idea is this Tommy, who is a Christian, he has the faith. He has the faith because he knows the fish belong to the temple. To Devi temple. Whereas Taylor, who is a Hindu, who has no faith.
Yes.
So the faith prevails over the unfaithful. That is what the scene is. Actually, Zacharia was more Hindutva follower than myself, because when I reread the story after this controversy, he says that he threw a bomb at the temple also.
Okay.
That also doesn't explode. So is it not Hindutva? Much more than the other one. See, when you work on a film, you take the story and read it and then forget about the original. So I had to reread it for some reason because of these controversies. So I found that he was more Hindutva follower than myself.
But you are looking at that characters in a different way. He
Yeah,
is looking at
if the thing explodes, my scene won't be there.
Yes.
I won't have that scene. If they are going just for the fishing, it makes no sense for me. For me, it is more important because this man who has no faith really fails, whereas his faith prevails.
Yes.
It's remarkable. That way, it becomes a very interesting sequence. Otherwise, it loses the sense.
Yeah.
If he gets fish, so what? He can do many things.
Yeah. So
I see it as my film, not as a translation of something else.
Hmm.
When you write something, it's a different thing. Everything should have a meaning because my audiences are watching everything. They are watching, they are hearing. They should have more information about things. They should have more interest in what is happening, and they should come at the right conclusions.
I think that is there in that's your style of making film also. From day one.
Yes.
It is.
Tommy even believes that if the Pateler throws the thing, it will explode.
So he is doing it.
He does that. He passes it on. He said, "No, you do it." He says, and he also does it, but nothing works.
Yeah.
That is his triumph.
Yeah.
Triumph of the faith.
Yes.
Is not it is far from religious faith. It is faith, simple faith. Have faith, you will be saved. That's what Bible says.
In Vidheyan, two of the best creative minds of Kerala joined to give us a different aesthetic experience. Rather, a combination of a novelette and its filmy interpretation happened. Again, Adoor places himself as an author filmmaker by taking an independent approach to the novelette, which even led to an open debate between the writer and the filmmaker later. The film saw Mammootty, the superstar of Malayalam, giving one of his best performances as the cruel Pateler caught in a time riot. The forest-like ambience of South Canara region regaled the visualization of Adoor's cinematographer Mangada Ravivarma, giving the wild energy of the film a raw aesthetic experience. Mammootty as well as Gopalakrishnan excelled as the master Servile duo, and they showcased the total actor control of Adoor in his films. What makes Adoor Gopalakrishnan's work stand out is his special concern with the social and cultural forces which acts upon his characters, making them think and behave the way they do, said David Sterrett in Christian Science Monitor newspaper after the film was screened at Smithsonian Institute at Washington, USA. Vidheyan again buttresses the filmy version of Adoor, based deeply in Kerala society, culture and its literature. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Swayamvaram 50, to join our discussion on each of Adoor's films. This is an year when Adoor completes 50 years of his creative life. Do comment on each of our episodes to make our conversation going fruitfully. Thank you.